God will allow it. Good morning. Morning, welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. I'm just doing a security check on stuff, but welcome back to the channel this morning. Where are we? So last night, Celtic did manage to get the win. This is the day that we went away. You've got to say, were you entirely happy with the result last night? It was a bit of a slog. Martin O'Neill did say it was going to be a slog. And let's listen to the man of the moment for me. And I've lost it. Oh, no, I've not. Let's listen to Benji Negrin before we listen to Martin O'Neill. And then we'll discuss some of the underperforming players for Celtic.
No, it's a difficult away game, like we all know. It was a hard-fought win today, but in the end, I think we deserved it.
Yeah, we certainly deserved it. That's your 15th league goal of the season. Your confidence must be sky high just now.
Yeah, of course. I'm very happy to be able to contribute to the team, and yeah, that's what I want to keep on doing.
Absolutely, and to come into the match as well and have that sort of impact, is that the sort of thing that you as a player you're just hoping that you can come on and do and
yeah,
make that?
Of course, and that's always been the mentality since I was since I was a small kid, that when you come off from the bench, you want to come in and decide the game. And especially when it was 1-1, we needed to get the win, go forward. So I'm happy to score today.
It's brilliant, and it's been a really, hectic and intense run of games that we've come through and that we're still in. But there seems to be a real sort of togetherness and a real spirit between the management, the staff, and the supporters. Is that how it feels for you as a player as well?
Yeah, that's exactly how it is, I think. And like you said, it's so many games now. But yeah, we've been staying together the whole season, and we will continue to do that.
And now, next up, we're back to Ibrox on Sunday for the cup game. But this time you'll have a full stand full of Celtic supporters behind you.
Yeah, I heard so. I'm looking forward to it
so
much.
To the atmosphere, and hopefully the same sort of impact as you had tonight.
Yeah, hope so.
Brilliant. Listen, thanks very much for speaking to us.
Thank you very much.
That was Benji Negrin. What would you have done? What would you do? People seem to forget that we bought Benji Negrin for 1.5 million, 1.6, 1.7 million or something. And he's been the bargain buy of the season. We speak about the fact that we spent 5 million on Balak Wisha, and we've brought in all these loan players. The fact that we managed to get Benji Negrin for such for pittance, absolute pittance. I mean, it does show that there are players out there. And is it time? Hopefully that the next manager can come in and he can step into the market and pick up more Benji Negrins for 1.5 million, because that's the way that Celtic are going to have to rebuild the squad in the summer. But before we even get to the summer, Martin O'Neill, let's get his thoughts on the game last night before we slate some of the players that just didn't turn up at all.
Well, we talked before the game about a difficult evening. I felt that's exactly what it was, a difficult evening. But we saw it through and won. And it's the 3 points, obviously very, very important for us. It keeps us in the hunt, if nothing else.
You got that early foothold, but it did get difficult. Was that the most pleasing thing? You were able to get through that?
I think so. I think, yeah. I mean, it's we give away the penalty at the time. I felt that when we got the goal, I felt for the next 5 minutes, I thought we surrendered the game. Didn't really go and make the goal count. And so Aberdeen got back into the game, a penalty, and then in the second half, Nygren scores a goal. Although I thought, I would say, I thought we should have had a penalty. I thought it was a handball, but it looked pretty clear, but it wasn't given. So, and then we had to wait a moment or two to see whether our goal was onside or offside. Thankfully, it was onside.
How nervous a wait is that when it could be so crucial?
Yes, because I thought Aberdeen played strongly today, very, very strongly, caused us plenty of problems during the course of the game, which I knew they would do. And but we squandered a couple of chances at the end. One, obviously, to make it 3-1, which is a big, big chance for us. And then you're holding on pretty nervously towards the end.
How key were the changes again tonight in game to make the impact?
Well, it's it's the third game in 6 days. It's been pretty tough, but the players have, again, go back to the words. I can. Oh, you've heard them all before, all the words. So there's no point in me repeating them. In that sense, it's been a great effort by the team. Really, really great effort to win this game tonight. Was very, very important for us. As I said to you, it helps us in that sense. Still a long, long way to go for us.
Talk about the squad and the changes in game, but you had to make one just before kick-off. How good do you feel Benjamin Arthur played today, coming in so late?
Well, it was very late. He has shown a really good attributes in training. I think he'll be a player in time. But this was a big game for him to be thrown in, because your mind, when you're a substitute in the game, you're thinking, well, I might get on at some stage or another, but you're not thinking, about 15 or 20 minutes before kickoff that you're just going to step into the game. So I thought he did very, very well. Very well indeed. I think he's enjoying his time up here. I think so. Anyway, you'll probably interview him and say something completely different. But overall, I was delighted with him. It's a shame for Big Dane, who'd done well in the last couple of games, I must admit. And we'll see where we are. I don't know. If the next question was the state of the injuries. I don't know yet.
This is so important in the title race. Now you turn to the Scottish Cup. How much are you relishing going back to Ibrox with a full away crowd this time?
Well, that will be lovely. Did you say relishing going to? I'm not so sure that I've ever relished that there in all my time. But to an extent, anyway, it's the league off for a little while for us. And now let's go. Let's go. We've got a big crowd behind us, and I don't want to let them down.
We don't want to let them down, but one of the important points that seemed to have missed out there in that interview with Martin O'Neill is he spoke injuries, as in plural. Let's hope that Kieran Tierney isn't injured and out the game for the weekend. I'm getting the sun shining on my face. I'm trying to dodge that bit of sunshine that's coming through the blind. Kieran Tierney was massive for Celtic last night. I mean, there was a few people on the live and in the comments last night saying take Kieran Tierney off. Before Kieran Tierney came off, he had 5 shots at goal. There was even somebody in the comments saying how we missed a certain player that went away to Cyprus. Hope he's enjoying his time over there. Kieran Tierney is starting to get back to his best. That injury, if he is injured, that will be a massive miss, because the shot that Sriracha took towards the end of the game, Kieran Tierney, I'm sorry, but Kieran Tierney would have scored that all day long. All day long. And I just hope that looking forward to Sunday, he isn't injured, because that was one of the big points that I took from that interview with Martin O'Neill, was the fact that he spoke about injuries as in plural. He doesn't know the extent of the injury and let's just hope that he's not got any broken bones on his foot. Let's hope it is just bruising and maybe a little bit of skin damage. Let's hope that's it. It is a quick turnaround for the game on Sunday. Let's hope that it's not too quick for Kieran Tierney, because he's a massive player for us, especially at Ibrox. And as you can see towards the end of his time on the pitch last night, he was struggling. It was a really bad one. And if that keeps him out for any length of time, I don't think Sriracha's as good. Sriracha's a good player, don't get me wrong, but he's nowhere near the level of Kieran Tierney. Nowhere near the level of Kieran Tierney. I mean, Kieran Tierney scoring 2 goals in successive games has been completely invaluable for us. But anyway, Martin O'Neill brought in several players during the last window. Numerous players, in fact. And let's be honest, the players that were brought into Celtic in the last window, the only one that's really stood out so far would be Julian Araujo. That bit of sun is doing my head in. Let's go way back here. The only one that's really played well since he came in would be Julian Araujo. When you look at the fact that we had to start, Murray was meant to start last night. Murray is now injured. It leaves us really short in the defence, because, we have Trusty coming back. You'll have the question, do you play Trusty with Scales Do you drop Scales? Scales giving away a penalty again. It's not the first time that Scales has given away a penalty. It's not the first time that Scales has had a howler in the box. And a lot of people have been giving Dane Murray stick. Liam Scales has cost Celtic more, probably just as well. He's definitely more over the years than what Dane Murray has in his short term at Celtic. There's one thing for sure: the squad is being stretched to its limits, with numerous players out injured that we can forget about making. And we've got to talk about the players that have came in, and the players that the big name players that just aren't performing. And it's unbelievable to think that Yang has played 100 games for Celtic. I don't think I've ever seen a more inconsistent winger in all my life as a Celtic fan. I can't think of a winger that's been so inconsistent as Yang that's managed to get 100 games. Normally, a player of that inconsistency would have been moved on by Celtic a long time ago. Yang was away in the summer. He was away last summer. He was away to Birmingham. That deal fell through because Nicholson wouldn't pick up the old dog and bone. But then you look at the other players that have came in. Dyson Maeda, he got his 200th appearance for Celtic last night. Let's talk about Dyson. Dyson's the player that looks like he's not getting out of first gear, is he? Let's be honest. He's not getting out of first gear at all. And then the striker that started, Big Tam. Typhon McFlossery says, Big Tam just isn't cutting the mustard. No, he's not. He's not. And it's a shame because we needed a big, do you know, I'm going to say it, he's a poor man's Adam Ida. Adam Ida was better than Tam, and Celtic fans chased Adam Ida out the door. You know, they give Adam Ida, and when you think about it, Adam Ida got some amount of stick and he scored 30 goals. Tam the Czech will be lucky to score 3 goals. His entire loan spell at Celtic. We have wingers that can't cross a ball. Yeah, this is true. I think the club needs to keep a Rojo. He gets Celtic. That'll be a difficult one, but I'm actually getting embarrassed for Maeda now. Maeda has lost his brain in front of goals. I mean, it was even Adam Maeda cost 7 million, lol. Tam the Czech is valued at 10 million, mate. Just saying. Tam the Czech is valued at 10 million. It's all about perspective. Inconsistent is not the word I used to describe Yang. Big Tam, putting a monster of a shift. Really hard, but maybe better as a winger. He never seems to get in the box. I mean, when we scored the first goal, you're thinking, right, come on, Celtic, this is our time, to go and put in some dominance. Even Martin O'Neill said that when we scored the goal, we seemed to sit back. We seemed to sit back and we seemed to sort of not be convinced that we could go and score more goals and be dominant and dominate the game. And that's what's typical of this team this year, is they may come out and say, oh, the squad's fine, that everyone's together, we've all got a belief, we all believe that we're good, and we all believe that we can go and achieve things. But the reality is, when they cross the line, you've got players like Tenecte who will not play the simple pass. To pick out on him. I mean, he's a fantastic player, but sometimes doing the easy pass makes you look an even better player rather than trying to do it yourself and then losing the ball. You've got Yang, who was just fleeting in and out of his performances of just unbelievable. You get one good game out of Yang every 3 months or something. When you look in the midfield, player that was missing in the midfield last night, the game completely passed him by, was Luke McCowan. You're thinking that this is a game that Luke McCowan should be grabbing the game by the throat, as they say. And and taken it to Aberdeen, but he's just not got that physicality. And it comes down to it again. Aberdeen were a big physical team. It seems to be the case that lots of SPFL clubs are now they're only buying players if they're 6'2" and above, and they've got a bit of physical presence about them. That's to the detriment of Aberdeen, I would say, because Aberdeen are sitting 8th in the league table. The league table doesn't lie. One disappointing fact from last night that I would take is that young Mitchell Frame, he had a decent game for Aberdeen. And I still can't believe that Celtic let him go to Aberdeen for absolute peanuts. So it was he's going to be another one that will thrive in the coming years. And Celtic fans will be sitting, we let that boy go for next to nothing. We told him he wasn't good enough. He was fantastic coming through the youth system. You know, he had some game time for Celtic, and you're thinking, yep, you just need him to make that step up. That's typical Celtic, isn't it? Anyway, talking about some of the other players, look at that table this morning. It's great, isn't it? It is great. So the previous results were Aberdeen. It was 2-1. Was it a nervy 2-1? I mean, it was nervous towards the end because you're thinking Aberdeen looked as if they might actually steal a little goal towards the end. Modern football players should all be big units. You cannot obviously increase your height, but physicality is everything these days. Yeah, upper body strength is a must with the players. And I don't know why Celtic do not put more emphasis on getting them in the gym and getting them working on their upper body. Every single one of them. Every single player. Agreed, Mitchell Frame was sensational last night. Can't believe they let him go. Neither can I. And you've got to plaudits go to Aberdeen for the fact that they are picking up Scottish players left, right and centre. Something that Celtic are not doing. Joseph says he nearly passed out with the last pressure in the last 5 minutes. Same with Sirocco, he needs to calm down, thinking of trying to score from all angles. Seb doesn't go back, he's always forward. Plenty of 1-on-1, he turned back. I think that Sebastian Tenetti is one player that, as a winger, I mean, if you look at if you compare and contrast Sebastian Tenetti to Yang in the performances last night, at least Tenetti wants to go forward. Yang, when he got the ball, 9 times out of 10, he's 1-on-1 with a player, and he just doesn't want to take on a player. He doesn't want to take on a player at all. He gets the ball and he looks and he's like, passes it back the way. It's strange for a winger to want to do that consistently. That shows a lack of confidence by Yang. There's no room for play. We're carrying the way that the squad is just now. Half these players that are in this team just now, I mean, ask yourself the question, how many players from this team would have gotten into the team under Brendan Rodgers the first time round? Now, I know it was a different time and Brendan Rodgers had it easier because of the fact that there wasn't as many good teams in the SPFL. You could say that there's more better teams in the SPFL. We all wanted an SPFL that there were more teams fighting for the title. Or is it the fact, which is, that Celtic are having one of the worst seasons in a long, long time? I mean, this season statistically is actually worse than it was under Ronnie Dyler. This season's making Ronnie Dyler look like he was a world champion. Don't know, it's absolutely crazy. Casper in goal. Oh, who's that? Casper in goals, and we lose that header. Casper doesn't even move for that. Yeah, you've got to give Sinisalo. You've got to give him plaudits. There was a couple of moments in the game last night where Sinisalo wasn't confident with the defence. There was a couple of times he's kicked the ball long, and you can understand what he's trying to do. Celtic are saying, like, just try and get the ball up to Tam the Czech. Big Tam, who does nothing with it, headers it, and there's nobody there. And you're thinking, how could such a big lad be so incompetent, if that's the right. I mean, it's maybe not incompetent for Tam, but just there's something not clicking. And there was a few other times at Sinisalo, you could see that it was the naivety. He's not a young player, he's 24-year-old. He's definitely not a young keeper. He should be Celtic's #1 keeper. I think he's a new holy goalie for me. That save that he did with the header from the Aberdeen player when he dives over, there is no way on this earth does Kasper Schmeichel get that. But Sinisalo will know himself. There was a few moments, and you've got to call the defence into the indecision with the keeper. Because if the keeper's not convinced with the players that are in front of him, that makes the keeper even a little bit more nervous. And there was too many passbacks last night. I mean, I know that he got man of the match, Benjamin Arthur. For me, he's not we've had some interesting players that have been at Celtic as defenders over the years. And Benjamin Arthur's not up there with the best of them. He's a decent player at best. He's been brought to Celtic as fourth choice. And I don't think that Celtic are a club that we should be bringing players in to just get some game time and cover positions. That's my own personal opinion. He had a decent game. There was times where you're thinking, don't pass it back, and he kept on passing it back. Now, if that's what you put down as quality, and there was a lot of indecisiveness, there was a couple of times that he just whacked the ball out. He's played it safe. And if you want, Celtic defenders don't generally play it safe. They play the ball forward. Could you imagine Roy Aitken just playing the ball safe? No, Roy Aitken would get the ball down and go forward. And I think that Benjamin Arthur, whilst he is a half-decent player, I don't think that we're not going to be able to buy the player anyway. There's no option to buy, so it's a case of he's here until the end of the season. We get done with it. Do you play him this weekend? I would say drop Scales and put Benjamin Arthur beside Trusty. Scales goes from being fantastic and within 5 minutes gives away a penalty. I mean, the touch from Scales, Scales he's a marmite, isn't he? He plays a fantastic kick. It was almost an overhead kick into the middle of the box for Kieran Tierney to smash into the back of the net. Brilliant play. Brilliant for Scales. But then he goes and gives away the penalty. And you're thinking it's a soft penalty. He kicks the guy in the back of the leg. He takes the boy out in the back of the leg. Did he see the player coming? It happens all the time. When you're caught blindsided as a defender, all the player needs to do is get in front. And if you make contact with them, it's a penalty. It's not your fault that you didn't see him coming. You have to be more aware of your surroundings. That's the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to Scale. But we've known that all day. Scale does that foul all the time. He's too reckless. It's clear we need a change. We need to change tactics. I would leave that down to Martin O'Neill because I think that you can only play with the players that we've got. And I think we changed Kieran. We changed tactics under Wilfred Nancy. And look how that worked out. Are you seriously saying that within the title running, we need to change formation and tactics in a game when we did it in December? And that didn't bode too well with us, did it? I think it would be crazy, suicidal almost, to change tactics at this time of the year. I mean, look back to December. We got beat 2-1 by Dundee United. We beat Aberdeen 3-1. Livingston 4-2. That was a hard game, remember. Motherwell beat us 2-0. That's all with a change of tactics and a change of formation. These Celtic players do not need change of formations and tactics at this time of the season. They need a little cuddle and a little arm around them and told, look, everything's going to be all right, sonny. That is the reality of what some of these players need. Just do that. But anyway, looking at some of the other results, the last game under Wilfred Nancy was 3-1 against the Rangers. They demolished us on our own ground. And then when Martin O'Neill came in, 4-0. Celtic Dundee United. Same Dundee United that beat us only less than a month earlier. Falkirk, full time, 1-0. It was touch and go with that game. Auchinleck Talbot, Martin O'Neill rings the changes, and the players, I mean, you'll look back and you'll just look at the scorelines and you'll see it as a win. You won't remember how bad we played. We went away to Bologna under Martin O'Neill and got a 2-2 draw. Fantastic. You're thinking that that's the turning point. You're thinking that you go to Hearts, you get the result, but no, we get a red card at Hearts, and it's 2-2. Chance blown to go top of the league. Utrecht away, 4-2 under Martin O'Neill. Fantastic result. Falkirk, that was a ropey one again, 2-0. Celtic 2, Dundee 1. That was another ropey game. We've been getting away with it. Livingston 2, Celtic 2, Livingston 1 in February. 3-2 against Kilmarnock. That was a struggle, that game. Well, when it gets to the summer and you look back, you'll not think about each individual game as being and the struggles that these players have had. Stuttgart at Celtic Park. Everyone's confident because it's at Celtic Park. The reality is the players were an absolute mess in the first half. I don't think I've ever seen such a bad atmosphere at a European game in all my life, even under Lou Macari in those years. I don't think that the atmosphere was as bad and as toxic. Now, people say that's the board that's caused that, but I mean, at least back in the 1990s when we were trying to get rid of the board, and yesterday was the day that Fergus McCann came into the club and saved us 32 years ago. And look at the disarray that we're in just now. But anyway, the Stuttgart game completely thrown us back. And then, to make matters even worse, we get beat by Hibernian at home to Celtic Park. That's when the reality sort of stuck in for some of the Celtic fans. If we'd won the game at Hibs, if we'd won the game at the Rangers, we'd be top of the league right now. You'd be talking a completely different game. We go away to Stuttgart. Martin O'Neill rings the changes. And somehow, the changes that Martin O'Neill made absolutely were phenomenal. And then we get the Rangers game. And you're thinking, it's easy. You know, we were all confident going into this game. We were a shambles the first half. Again. And everyone thought, do you know what? That's it. It's done and dusted. When you look at the performance against Aberdeen last night, who sat back and defended, yes, when we got it over the line. But I tell you one thing, it's not convincing at all. We were all speaking about before the game that we needed a convincing win. We needed it to be convincing to settle the nerves. Yes, getting the early goal was fantastic. Well played. But even Martin O'Neill said 5 minutes after it, he's thinking the players seem to have went into their shell. Now, this weekend, we're back onto Scottish Cup duty. Winner takes all. Quarter-final. It is a winner-takes-all game because you get through to the semi-final. You get to Hampden. And Celtic, when they get to Hampden, I'm not convinced that we could win the Scottish Cup the way that we're playing. I'm not convinced that we could win against Rangers this weekend. You know, it is a week defining a season. You know, it's been defined in the space of a week and a half, 2 weeks. Getting put out of Europe, we're still in the hunt for the league. You've got to say that. As bad as we've been. And this is we maybe need to give the players a bit of, do you know what, yous have been bad this season. But look at the league table, doesn't lie. So, you know, we are in second place. For as bad as we've been, and we've been bad. We've been bad all season. But anyway, I don't think a change of tactics is what we need at this time. Hatate wasn't happy with Tenecte. I don't think there's many players happy with Tenecte at some points last night. The penalty with slow reactions. Arthur and Trusty. Now that's an idea. I think so. I would try. is it a game for changing things about? But trusting Arthur, it might just work. Might just work. Martin O'Neill's got a lot to think about. Motherwell will suit us more, leave more space, won't deep block us. I think we'll win 4-1 against Motherwell. Gee, I am not a chance. Are you crazy, mate? Have you seen the SPFL table? Have you seen how many goals Motherwell haven't conceded? Motherwell have got the best goal scoring difference in the league. We have about 6 players just at the club playing for time to get a move. We've got 5 or 6 players that are on loan at the club that are just happy to be getting game time. That's not Celtic. That's not Celtic at all. It's absolutely bonkers. Scales will cost us in the cup on Sunday. Ooh, Stephen Johnson's in the house. Stephen, did you get the top that Peter sent you? A lot of people saying hope Arthur starts on Sunday. We ain't scoring 4 goals any game between now and the end of the season. No, that's exactly my thoughts. I don't think I can't see us scoring 4 goals any game. It's unbelievable. We should heavily rotate at Ibrox on Sunday. How heavily? I'll play Benji as a number 9 at Ibrox. Yeah, you definitely play. I mean, you talk about the team. I mean, my team for Sunday, as long as there's no injury to. Let's wait and see what the manager says tomorrow. And if there's any injuries to any players, he won't tell us. He'll tell us there's a couple of niggles, but I've got the fear. I've got the fear that was a bad tackle on Tierney, a real bad tackle on his foot. Should it have been more than a yellow card? I don't think so. It's one of those unfortunate tackles. But it is another reckless, typical Scottish football challenge, isn't it? And that's what some people love about Scottish football. But it is also the downside that why a lot of really good players don't fancy Scottish football. Martin will be reviewing last Sunday's game in detail, and we'll find the best way to beat Sevco on Sunday, and Martin we trust. I don't think it's about reviewing the game. I think it's he'll have to review the players that he has at his disposal. Because now being without Murray, I have the fear that if Benjamin Arthur passes it back to the keeper as much as that at Ibrox, they'll put pressure right up on us, like they did in the first half. We don't cope with it. We don't play well. You seen throughout, there was points at the game that Sinisalo was shouting at Benjamin Arthur to go forward with the ball, not to hold it and pass it back to him. Sinisalo was giving them stick for it. You can only go and you can only see what the keeper's doing on the pitch. But as we stick with what we're doing until the end of the season, Martin O'Neill only playing what they are good at and what they are bad at. Sriracha is some player. I hope we could sign him. I can't see that one happening. Westmeath, pissing down in rain. There we go. It's nice and sunny here. As you can see, I keep on getting blinded by the sun. Nancy was chucked in at the deep end. O'Neill didn't take the cup final. Does the Scottish Cup go to a replay if it's a draw? No, it goes to extra time and penalties. I'm sure. Oh no, it's at this stage. You're not wanting to go to a replay. We've got enough games right now. That's That's as bad as wanting to get through to the next stage in Europe. We've been really poor, Baz, for a Celtic. I don't think that the players collectively are poor. I think that there are players that can be fantastic players, and I think that there'll be players that will go on and have, you know, good careers elsewhere. But there's a big bunch of this Celtic group that the passing ability. Do you know? I mean, we talk about pass accuracy. The pass accuracy was only 84% last night. That's a way down for Celtic. Way down. It's usually the late 80s, early 90s%. It's usually about 91%, 89%. You know, the pass accuracy was woeful last night. But it's all about getting over the line, and it was a difficult night up in Pittodrie, as it is always. And getting the result and getting back down the road with the 3 points was the must. And for the fans that were driving home last night, they were happy as punch because they came away with the result. You know, it's not a great game of football, but all that matters to them, driving back down the road in the dark, is the fact that they got it. They got it over the line. Just jump through them. 3 games before we have Engels, Osman and Alistair Johnson to return to training. We're still in it. They're not going to make a difference, mate. Alistair Johnson, Callum Osmond, Arnie Engels, he's played a lot of football this season. Alistair Johnson needs to get up to game fitness. You talk about Oxlade-Chamberlain not being match fit. How match fit will Alistair Johnson be? It's going to take him 2 or 3 games to get up to. And Alistair Johnson's in the team. Are you going to drop out their little Mexican friend? Don't know. I mean, saying that is and do you drop? I'm going to say it. Do you drop Colby Donovan? Because Colby Donovan's having a fantastic season. Well, and all I'm saying is, will Alistair Johnson be physically fit enough to make an impact? Will Callum Osmond be? Hopefully, he comes back in and he kicks off from where he left off just before he got injured, and starts putting the ball in the back of the net. Because we've got strikers. We had a striker on the bench last night that is. He doesn't look as if he's going to get a game for Celtic. When you look at the fact that we took off Big Tam and we brought on Daiz Maeda as a striker. We brought a guy in on loan, Junior Adamu, to be a striker for Celtic. And he's not good enough. Now, Martin O'Neill, he says if they work out and they're great players, I'm taking the responsibility for signing the players. If they come in and they play shit, I am not taking the responsibility for the players. That lets you know exactly what is going on at Celtic. And I just hope once we get to the end of this season, and whatever happens, if we win a double, Martin O'Neill will be given a sainthood. If we win nothing, I hope Martin O'Neill sits down and does a couple of interviews and tells us exactly what a shit show that, because Martin O'Neill owes nothing to Celtic. Let's not take that away. I mean, Martin O'Neill answered the call when from Dermot Desmond, and it gives me the fear of death looking into the next season, because when you see the names that are being linked with Celtic, the Scotland manager, the Motherwell manager, the Portugal manager, Roberto Martinez, there's none of them that are setting the heather on fire for me and that are going to bring in and do great things at Celtic. If you think that it was bad going into the Ronnie years, next summer, somebody's going to drop the mic and just give us a big reality check bomb right in front of Celtic Park. But anyway, what about the Aberdeen manager asking players to cheat? No one says a thing about that. I'm not worrying about what other ones. Heavy rotation at Ibrox. I don't think so. I apologise. I'm going to jump through the comments. Extra 10 and penalties over here. Sure, same in Scotland. After Sunday, we'll be back to 1 game a week. That will help. It will help, but will it make a difference? The only thing that will help with it is that the players won't be rotated as much. And I tell you one thing, there's a few players in that team from last night that are yeah. Thank goodness it's back to 1 game. It's boring. Anyway, right. I'm just reading some of these comments whilst we finish off this morning. Martin O'Neill he knows that it's been a heavy fixture schedule. This is the 3rd game in 6 days for Celtic. Another away trip. We've had a lot of away games, and we've done not too bad when you look at it. I think that we can be happy that we've managed to come through. Listen, we've managed to come through this heavy schedule of February into March. I mean, when we looked at it back in January was looking unbelievable. December was just a disaster for Celtic. I mean, when you go back to getting beat 2-1 from Hearts at Celtic Park on the 7th of December, and getting beat 3-0 at Celtic Park by Roma, getting beat 3-1 by St Mirren in the League Cup final. Jesus. Then getting beat 2-1 by Dundee United, and then finally turning it around against Aberdeen and winning 3-1 against Aberdeen. Kind of stopped the rot a little bit, but not enough, because Celtic managed to drop some more points, and Wilfred Nancy was kicked out the door. Martin O'Neill has come back in, not only steadied the ship, but he needs a medal for what he's done. The games left between now and the split in the league are Celtic versus Motherwell. Celtic versus Motherwell in the league. I don't know why that's got Dundee United next fixtures. That's way ahead. We do have, there's the fixtures there. So we've got Rangers in the Cup this weekend, down the bottom there. And then we come back to Celtic Park. In the league, it's going to be a difficult game. Motherwell are playing the best football in Scotland. Some people were convinced that Celtic will win that 4-1. Not a chance. That'll be a lucky 2-1 Celtic again. And then we go away to Dundee United. We play Dundee United on the 22nd of March, and then we play Dundee the 5th of April, and then the last game before the split is St Mirren. I'm convinced that we'll win those 3 games and going into April. The game that gives me the worry is the Motherwell one. If we have any hope of trying to strangle this league from Hearts, because that's what we're now looking at. Do you know, the league table doesn't lie. Celtic are sitting on 58 points in 2nd place. Hearts are sitting top of the table on 63 points. We've played the same amount of games. This is where it gets tasty when it comes to the league. When you look at Motherwell have scored, they've got a goal difference of 29. Celtic have got a goal difference of 22. There's nothing that says, you know, that, and Motherwell are on a fine run of form. But if it's a draw at Celtic Park, I will say again, that is it. That will be it over. Because that number there, the goal difference of 22, the goals against, 31 goals against. Motherwell have got 18 goals against. How was anyone expecting us to score 4 goals when they've let in 18 goals all season? That's bonkers. It's bonkers even thinking that we're going to win 2-0, 2-1. Don't know. I think it could be a lucky 1-0 game. Anyway, right, that is me done and dusted for this morning. Thank you to everyone who has been on the channel. If you haven't checked out the video from last night, there is a little bit of the reaction video. Go and check that out on the channel. Martin Neal will speak to the media tomorrow. Let's just hope that we can get... Oh, I don't even want to start thinking about the game. Tomorrow. It's on the wrong screen. Let's get back to that one. But yes, I shall see you this evening. Last Thursday night. It's usually the Thursday night's the last live of the week in the evening. What are you having for lunch, Baz? Something Spanish? I have no idea, mate. We need the Green Brigade back into the games. Well, Celtic have got a week and a bit to think about that. But anyway, that's beside the point. We do need the Green Brigade back in. We need a full Celtic Park rocking for the Motherwell game. Will the hierarchy at Celtic do it? Or will the hierarchy at Celtic just go, do you know what? I don't really care about the Green Brigade. I think we might just close down standing section. That would be an absolute disaster for the club. Anyway, lots to talk about this evening. Let's join me tonight at 8 p.m. Celtic Park time. On that note, have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans, wherever you are all around the world.